Hello, everybody. I'm Samantha.
I'm Rick. I'm Rick.
So silly. I just wanted to come and make a video introducing ourselves pretty much, and basically we want to share with you all our story. The reason why I wanted to share our infertility, you don't really hear about infertility too much in the Black community. It's kind of like a stigma, and if somebody is going through it, it's private and kept secretive and nobody really knows about it. Why is it so silly? I myself don't personally know anybody that has struggled with infertility and done any infertility treatments. Do you? Why is it so silly?
I can't stop laughing.
Do you know anybody that has dealt with infertility? Not really. So basically, I know a lot of times I look on different websites and YouTube and different forums trying to pretty much look at other people's stories and see what different people have gone through. And I know that it has helped me a lot of times while going through different treatments. So it just helps sometimes when you know that you're not alone and basically somebody else knows what exactly you're going through. So basically I'll let him start off and tell you all how we met, because he was the persistent one.
How we met?
Yeah.
I mean,
this was back in MySpace days. This is almost, this was 10 years ago. He was messaging me.
Yeah, I seen a picture on MySpace, and I like what I saw, I guess, and I tried to talk to her, and she curved me a couple of times, and
He always say that.
but yeah, you did. but I stuck with it,
So
stay consistent, fellas.
Shut up.
You got somebody out there you like, don't give
So
up.
basically in October, we made it official, October 2007. And I went to go see him that November, and that February of 2008, we were married. Yes, we didn't waste any time. Very fast, because we just knew. So we got married in February 2008, and we began trying to conceive right off the bat. We bought ovulation tests and went and bought this expensive one. It was $300, $400 to track my ovulation, and nothing really worked. So in April, I sought out the doctor. Ricky was not trying to waste any time. He was like, we need to go to the doctor because it's taking a long time, which really technically it wasn't, but
Okay, what are we going
yourself, it don't matter. So basically in April we went, and when you first go, they run a lot of tests, blood work. They check your hormone levels for the female. Then they do a HSG test, which I don't know the technical word for. I do, but I'm not going to try to pronounce it. But anyway, it's a test where you're under x-ray and they shoot a dye. They place a catheter up into your vagina, through your vagina, up through your uterus, and they shoot dye to make sure none of your fallopian tubes are blocked. And that was clear for me. And they did a semen analysis for Ricky, which they said it was normal. So we basically just thought everything was normal pretty much. So kept trying and nothing worked that way. So in May of 2008, we went to the fertility center in Nashville. And they put us on this medicine called Clomid. And it's just a pill that you take 5 days of your cycle, the beginning of your cycle, and it helps you produce follicles, which are which holds your eggs. So that it helps you produce follicles, and they made us do our first timed intercourse. And timed intercourse is when they basically tell you what days to have intercourse and what time, pretty much in a nutshell. So that cycle didn't work. So in June of 2008, we did an IUI. And an IUI is when they collect his semen. He collects the semen in a cup. And they put it through a process called washing it, which is they separate the sperm from the semen. And they put a catheter in my uterus and shoot the sperm into my uterus. And that didn't work. So we switched.
Can you break down how much all this stuff costs on the way to do?
Oh yeah, it was pretty expensive. In the beginning, we were not going through our insurance when we were at the National Clinic, so everything was coming out of pocket. Paying for Clomid. Clomid was pretty inexpensive. It was like $25 at the local pharmacy. They carry that. It's not a specialty pharmacy item. And then like doing the sperm wash itself was maybe like $100, and then doing the IUI, that procedure cost like $400. No, the IUI. No, that was the later ones we did. The beginning ones we did, they were like $500. So that one didn't work in Nashville. So we went in August of 2008, and we did one in Hopkinsville, Kentucky. This was with he wasn't a fertility specialist. He was an OBGYN. So imagine trying to get pregnant, and you're sitting in a lobby full of expectant mothers. Like, so we did our second IUI then, and that didn't work. So here comes the deployment in December, and we were very bummed that we didn't conceive before he left, because we really wanted to get pregnant before he left and went overseas. So he was gone from December of 2008 until November of 2009. And if you were my Facebook friend, you know how I was back then, missing him, making statuses every day.
Pretty special.
Yeah, all right. So then just 2010, when he came back, we didn't seek any fertility help. We were just still just tracking cycles and pretty much just hoping and praying and wishing that we would get pregnant on our own, and it was nothing. Then in 2010, in October, we moved to Virginia, and we sought out to get fertility help again. I got referred to this clinic, and I was told that I had polyps. But I was told then that I had polyps, but that was towards the end. So they were like, you can have surgery now, or you can wait, because Ricky was getting ready to get deployed again. So that's the second one. Third for you. So in March of 2011 until December 2011, he was deployed again. So then to the rest of March of 2012, we got referred to another OBGYN. Because if you don't know, TRICARE does not cover anything fertility related. Like they cover timed intercourse. They don't cover anything that would be defined as artificial. But I'm like, okay, it's not our choice to not be able to have kids. So, but yeah, so TRICARE doesn't cover. So when you see me saying that we did timed intercourse a lot, that's what we could do until we got money to afford what we could do. So in March of 2012, while we were in Virginia in Newport News, it referred us to an OBGYN, TRICARE did, and we did another timed intercourse, which did not work. So in June of 2012, we moved to Columbia, South Carolina. He was stationed at Fort Jackson. And then that was when we got referred to another fertility specialist, since the one in Nashville. And in August to September, we did a cycle of timed intercourse. And timed intercourse, that didn't work. So in October of 2013, we did an IUI, our third IUI. You know, you're thinking, third time's a charm, it's gonna work. Doing IUI, we're at a fertility clinic, it's gonna work. And they put us on a medicine in which it makes you produce more follicles, more eggs. And I had to give myself an injection in my stomach. I don't know how many nights a week I had to do that, but I had to do that. That didn't work. And that was the same clinic where we learned that he has low motility. His sperm, low motility. And low morphology. Morphology is their life. They don't live. I mean, not their life, but he has a lot of abnormal sperm.
It's rough out here. Been through a lot.
So then that December we started our protocol for our first IVF cycle that we did. I started on birth control. They make you take birth control so you can regulate your cycle. And that clinic closes for the holidays. So they were closed from like December the 14th until like January the 14th or something like that. Like a whole month they were closed. So whenever they came back, then we could start up. But with that, I was taking giving myself like 2 or 3 shots in my stomach a day. One shot was to make me pretty much go in menopause mode. It was making me not making sure that I didn't ovulate before it was time to retrieve my eggs. And I was on another shot to make me have a lot of follicles. So I did all that, did our egg retrieval, which is where they go in with a big needle and aspirate the eggs out of your follicles. So with all that, they retrieved 14. And of those 14, they were able to inseminate 7. When I say inseminate, it's a process called ICSI, where they take his sperm and they actually put it inside of the egg. And out of all those 14, only 2 made it to day 3, because we did day 3 transfers at this clinic that we were at. A transfer is when they take the embryo and they put it in your uterus. And from that, it didn't work. And when I say that was like the hardest time, because we were in South Carolina, 8 hours away from family. I mean, I had friends that people that I work with, but like, man, that was hard. And to actually like see the embryos outside of your body and like know that they were like alive, and because they were growing, they were alive, they were cells, they were multiplying. That was a very hard time. How did you feel with that?
I don't know. I was just kind of going with the flow, I guess.
Well,
I was just trying to be there for you more.
There was so, when I say depressed, like, oh my gosh, that was like the hardest time in my life. But again, like, people knew about our cycle, but us being us, we're very private people. So nobody really knew or kind of understood the extent of the hurt that came with that, because you're like, the money, it's expensive. Like, and at that point, we wanted to do anything to try to have a baby. So, got a credit card? Okay, let's go swipe it. We gonna make this baby. Like, so for it to have failed, it was like so hard. And we didn't really like our fertility specialist. Like, she was so unpersonable. Like, she didn't I can say that because I did not like her. She I don't know, I just didn't like her. Ricky, I don't think he did either. So we were supposed to go back, and she was supposed to explain to us why our cycle didn't work and this and that. And I was like, I don't want to do it. When they called, I gave Ricky the phone. He talked to them, and I was just done. At that point, after that, I was like, I don't want to try anymore. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I cannot do it anymore. Like, I just can't take it anymore. But as we can see,
We're back.
yeah. So that May, we started taking foster classes in South Carolina. Like, we were going to foster because we wanted to adopt. Because I just given up all hope of ever having my own child. So that August, a couple months later, after I said I was so done, that August I switched doctors, and I was actually able to convince him that I thought that I really needed to have surgery, because from the polyps that they found in Virginia, I felt like they needed to go and explore and see what was going on. So I had surgery in September of 2013, and that's when they found that inside of my uterus I had polyps, which my uterus it really just needed to be cleaned out, and it was really not a good place for embryos at that time in its state. So the IVF, that's probably why it didn't work, but nobody listened to me because they said I was too young to have polyps. And I had like 3 or 4 polyps inside of my uterus. And they also found that I had scar tissue on my uterus and on my fallopian tubes, on my ovaries. And I also had adhesions, which is like things were sticking to each other. So my ovaries were sticking to my uterus and my fallopian tubes, and different organs in my body, they were just stuck to them. And with that procedure, they go in with a camera and look inside of your uterus, and then that's the hysteroscopy. And the laparoscopy is when they make an incision in your belly button and 2 other small incisions, and they go in and they look at your organs on the inside of your stomach. So that was in September. So in November, we tried to do another timed intercourse because we're like, okay, it's all cleaned out, it's gonna work this time. That didn't work. So I tried to do 2 more cycles after that, but I had 2 big cysts. And I had also been, I don't know if it was at this doctor or before, but I have been diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian. I just lost my train of thought. Syndrome. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. Which is, it makes me have a lot of cysts from the follicles because I don't ovulate every month. So when I don't ovulate, it turns into a cyst. Gets huge from hormones. They grow with hormones. So, yeah. The second cycle, then the third cycle. Couldn't do it because I had cysts. Then at that time, I was like, okay, I'm done again. I was done again. So, March 2014, we moved to Korea, and I was like, oh, yes, we moved to Korea. They got the cheap IVF. I was trying to convince Ricky so hard, y'all. He was like, we do not have the money for it. We cannot do it. But I still got a referral when we went to Korea. And, but ultimately, we decided not to do anything. But I did get an ultrasound while I was there, and I learned that I had a fibroid, which... he said that the fibroid didn't wasn't gonna affect anything. It was a little small, and we should be good by. But still, I was like, "Oh my goodness, I have a fibroid," because my mom has a history of fibroids, and she had to have them removed once before. So I was like, "Oh gosh, I'm gonna have fibroids, and I'm gonna have hysterectomy." Like, but so far so good. That one is still just at 2 centimeters, but I do have another fibroid. That's not bothering me at the moment right now, so everything is good with the fibroids. But in July, we left Korea. We didn't stay long because Ricky decided he was done with the Army when we got to Korea. So we got back to Clarksville for him to get out of the Army medically, because he is out. He got medically retired. We decided to start up doing our DCS classes again for Tennessee. So we did those. We did the classes, and then we bought our first house in February. And we got our home study done in May. We got finished with everything, and they did our home study and stuff. So we got certified to become foster parents for DCS for the state of Tennessee. So in June the 29th of 2015, our kids came. They were placed with us. At the time, they were 4, 3, and 1. All of them in diapers, Lord. All of them were drinking out of bottles. Yeah.
It was rough.
It was rough. And we didn't speak much about that either. Through our journey with this IVF journey, I want to bring attention to infertility, and I want to bring attention to DCS adoption and fostering. There is a need everywhere. The need is great. And I encourage you, if you can, become foster parents and adopt from DCS, like Department of Children's Services. People going everywhere and paying all this money. You don't have to do that. And it's so many kids. It is so many kids in DCS custody. Like, it's crazy. Like, the need is very great. But our kids came on June the 29th, and that, I can say that took my mind off of infertility for a very long time. But sometimes it would still be in the back of my mind, like seeing a parent, quote unquote, have kids and not see them. It was crazy. It's like, how can you not care about these lives that you brought into this world? Like, and I'm sitting here like, I just wish that I could have just at least just one child of my own. So that brought up a lot of feelings, like it was crazy. But earlier this year in February, we had decided that we were going to start fertility treatments again, and we got referred to the fertility clinic in Memphis, and we got all the testing done, and blood work, ultrasound, semen analysis, and all that. Then once again, we were like, okay, we're gonna wait. We're not gonna do it right now. We're gonna, wait until the adoption is over with, because we knew that we were gonna adopt them. There was no doubt. it was kind of doubt, but we knew. Deep down we knew, but it was still in the forefront of our minds, like they could go back, you know. It's a possibility. But so November 13th of this year, we adopted our 3. They are 6, 5, and 4 now. And so we decided that we were ready to give our IVF journey another try. Because as a female, I guess, I don't know. I don't think it's the same for a guy. But, you know, growing up, you know, you want to, you just dream of getting married and having a big, pretty wedding and then having kids of your own. And a lot of people probably thinking like, oh, well, you adopted and you have kids. But I'm not going to say, because I love those kids with all of me, everything. Like, but to experience it, pregnancy and all that comes with it, like, because they weren't infants when we got them. So we haven't had an experience with a baby, like a baby, both of us, like something that we really, really want to experience, like pregnancy. And crazy as I might sound, I'm ready to experience delivery. Like, I want the whole 9. So we decided to start back up. And the kids every day, Mama, when are you gonna have our baby sister? When are you gonna have my baby brother? Like, they are pumped. They want a sibling, and like, they're ready. I'm ready. I'm like, yes, okay, we're gonna do this. So next week we have an appointment in Memphis on the 13th to speak back with the fertility specialist, and hopefully we'll get to start back up on our IVF journey soon. I don't know what protocol he does, because of course this is a new doctor. We haven't done any treatments with him yet, but just want to share our journey and bring awareness to infertility and things like that. So be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, all that. And we're going to keep you all updated on our journey. Thank you.
Check the room.